Hi folks, welcome back to the Audiofile-Incar YouTube channel. And at last, I'm going to take you around our new G80 M3 X-Drive demo car. So just to tell you a little bit about the car, we ordered it over a year ago. It took a long time to come through, maybe because it was an individual build. If you're into your M3s and these BMs, then they are absolutely awesome. I've had quite a few other M cars, but this G80 is just on another level. It's fantastic. The level of grip, the performance, everything about it, I love it. We spec'd it in Brooklyn grey, so it's this lovely sort of metallic grey colour. What I like about it is it actually stays really clean, so it doesn't take quite as much cleaning as a black or some of the other colours. It's got the carbon pack on it, so you've got the carbon inlets on the front there. It's got the laser lights, gone for dual colour wheels, red calipers. It's got the carbon mirrors. It's got ultimate pack on it, so therefore it's got all the carbon fibre bits actually, and we've gone for I've gone through the carbon buckets. Anybody that tells you these are uncomfortable, they probably haven't sat in them. All they're quite large. I'm about 13.5 stone, it's just under 6 foot, and they are absolutely superb. A little bit tricky to get in and out of it. There's a little bit of a neck. You kind of got to put your hand on the sill and hop over, but once you get the hang of that, they're fantastic. We went for extended leather, so because it's a demo car, I just want to be a little bit special. So you've got the leather dash and the leather door cards and so on and so forth. And I was lucky enough to get iDrive 8 in this car. So again, there's been quite a lot of chatter about iDrive 8, people not liking it because they don't want to lose the buttons and they prefer iDrive 7. Well, I can tell you from using both systems a lot, I love the iDrive 8. I was worried about losing my heater control buttons, but actually everything's so simple on here. It's so quick to get to the temperature controls and things like that. The heater, the climate system, the automation is so good you barely need to touch it. You just occasionally turn the temperature up and down a little bit. The screen is fantastic. Apple CarPlay is amazing across that huge, great big screen. The camera system looks incredible. You know, the 360 cameras, you can actually look at the car from the outside, which is really trick. You can do that on your mobile phone too. So yes, plus. If you're interested in one of these cars, don't hesitate, just grab one. They do say, I read that possibly iDrive 8.5 and iDrive 9 are on the horizon. That's scary because iDrive's 8 only been out a little while. So with all these new cars, or all the new M cars, certainly they have iDrive 7, iDrive 8, or maybe something different in the future, but they've mostly got Harman Kardon. Now, the Harman Kardon sound system's pretty flat. One of the things I really didn't like about it is a muddled soundstage in the front. So when you sit in the driver's position, any vocals, etc., you really want them in the centre of the dash. But they were all over the place, even with the factory centre channel. That's one thing I really picked up on. The bass was weak and there was no extension. Fairly lively top end, but no detail. It's as if the harmonics weren't there. So it's uninvolving and uninteresting to listen to. We offer some pretty high-end audio systems. We've got all our BMW range of BMW System 1, System 2, System 3, System 3 Plus, which was with a digital processor. And of course, we recently released our System 3 Utopia, which you can see in our other BMW videos, which is where we had the the Focal Utopia tweeters and the A-pillars in custom A-pillar builds. You know, that's a £1,200 pair of tweeters, so that's a pretty high-end system. However, it's come to our attention that lots of our customers don't want A-pillar builds. They want a car that looks factory, an OEM kind of look. So that's where we've headed in this vehicle and the hi-fi that we recommend for it. So we wanted to find the very best speaker that we could fit in the factory locations without anything on show. And after a lot of listening and a lot of playing around, we reckon the best thing we've found are the Morel components. So Morel make a set of reference components for this car. That is a 4-inch mid-range that goes in the original location down there and a tweeter that sits at the top. Now the 4-inch mid-range, you've got to see it to believe it. Hopefully I can overlay a picture of it at some point. It's got a neodymium magnet. It's got a huge voice coil. It's got to be nearly 2 inches in diameter. And this gives the driver huge power handling, but also because of the cone area, allows it to play quite low frequencies. So traditionally, one of the issues you have in a BMW, which we've talked about loads of times, would be the fact that you've only got a 4-inch in the door, then you've got an 8-inch underneath the seat. You need to blend the sound. So you need to get the 8-inch to cross over at a point where the 4-inch becomes efficient. So that's normally about 150 hertz, which is okay. Some people are putting 3-inch speakers in the doors. There's a variety of really good 3-inch component sets, but the problem is they don't lend themselves to a BMW. a 3-inch speaker won't run much below 300 hertz. That gives you either a jolly great big gap in between your underseat woofers and your mids, or you've got to run your underseat woofers up to 300 hertz, in which case they sound absolutely horrendous. It sounds like someone's talking to you from underneath the chair. That we don't want. Now, the beauty of the Morel is we're actually getting it to play down 110 hertz and pretty linear too. So we're treating the underseat subs almost as a true subwoofer as opposed to just a mid-bass driver, because we're getting the doors to run down so low. The effect of that is a really full, warm front end, great mid-bass, no sound dragging from underneath the seat. The tweeters are super smooth. I mean, they really are lovely. The Morel system comes as a two-way passive setup, but what we've done is we've run extra wires into the doors so we can run it fully active. If you're going to do something high-end like this, it really needs to be fully active. So we've got Morel tweeter in the top of the door there in the original location. We've got the Morel woofer behind the Harman Kardon grille there. And we've got the Morel 8-inch woofer set underneath the seat, which again is quite a piece of engineering. It fits in the original location, doesn't take up any more room. All the grills go back on it, so you'd never know it was in there. We have driven the system from a 6-channel amplifier, a JL Audio, well, here's the software for it actually. It's a JL Audio VXI 606. So it's 6 by 75 watts RMS. That's its rated power. It becomes quite a bit more powerful than that. It's best part of 150 watts RMS to the underseat woofers because of the loading. So it's 150 watts per woofer, which is enough to get them rocking fairly well. And that's its rated power. I think in reality it does a bit more than that. This is the software that controls the amplifier. So basically we plug this laptop into the amplifier and we can then tune the system. So here is the configuration page. This is how we set the system up. And we can then tune it, time align everything. We plug a microphone in, which we've done previously, put the microphone behind the driver's headrest. We listen to pink noise through the system. That plots as a graph on the laptop, and then we can EQ it accordingly. That way, basically, we get a really good sound in the car, and we time align everything. So we actually disconnect the factory center channel, but it will sound when you're in a seat in the driver's position that there are vocals coming from dead center, top of the dash. That's what we're trying to achieve. It's called a strong front sound stage and good time alignment. Now you can't see anything in the back of the cars, it's all hidden away, but actually we've gone a little bit further in this car and we've added a new version of the party sub. So traditionally we would use a JL Audio TW13, which is an incredible subwoofer, very slim, but actually in this car we want to keep the weight down, but we also decided, you know, a lot of grown-ups are buying these cars and sometimes you want some boot space. I know I definitely do. So let me show you the solution that we've come up with. Here she is. So we've got a custom enclosure there, housing a JL Audio W3 woofer. It's only a 10-inch. Now, this enclosure is actually an off-the-shelf enclosure which we purchased. It's really well made. It's very rigid and it saves an awful lot of time and money. It didn't fit great, so we've had to strip it down, re-fiberglass it all the way around the edges and recarpet it. But you know what? That's only, you know, an hour and a half's work as opposed to a whole day's work to build the box. So this is a great little enclosure. And as you can see, it takes up hardly any space at all, so it doesn't really affect the load area. This is what we call a party sub. Now, underneath there, we've got two VXI amplifiers sitting in the original location where their factory amp would sit. So we've got a VXI 606. That runs the underseat woofers, the mids, and the tweeters fully actively. Then the output from the VXI 606 runs a VXI 601, 600 watt monoblock amplifier that just drives this subwoofer. And this subwoofer is just to produce the real lows. So it's kind of running from about 50 or 60 hertz down. It just puts that bottom octave in the sound that you can't get from an underseat woofer. Or you can get, but not at any sort of impressive volume. So the system's switchable. If you'd like to come and have a demonstration of this car, we can play it to you with and without the subwoofer. And actually, you'll be incredibly surprised at just how much bass we can get from the Morel underseat subwoofers. The extension is also very, very good. As I say, most people that listen to this demo car can't believe there isn't a subwoofer in it when it's switched to just its standard mode. That's without the party subwoofer. So there you go. That's our G80 M3. It's a fabulous looking car. It's a fabulous sounding car. I would love you to come and have a listen to it. Don't forget, it's not just the M cars which have iDrive 8 and Harman Kardon in. All of the later G chassis cars will have ID7 or ID8. So all of those cars we can now interface to and give you a fantastic sound with nothing showing whatsoever, a completely covert system. So if you've enjoyed this video, which I hope you had, if you're into your BMWs, which I hope you are, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow. We'll be posting lots more videos of new BMWs. It's not just Land Rover Defenders. It's not just Mercs we do. We do lots and lots of BMWs. In fact, BMW is our bread and butter. So thanks very much for watching. Have a great weekend.